welcome to a new podcast on GameCast called the GameCast Newscast. That's a funny name, isn't it, really?
Yeah, that's a bit convoluted, but it works.
It's fine. Well, it's called that because I don't know if we're going to use the name that I wanted to use. So, it's all good.
Fair.
So this is going to be a podcast where we go into a more detailed view on some of the news stories. And because it's all about the news, you have me, Count Fracula, Snowy,
the news
best
team.
Newscaster. Yes,
whoa,
the news
whoa,
team
hold
and
on.
the best newscaster.
Hold on. The best newscaster? I remember Machen saying something a bit different in the news chat.
I remember Machen being wrong.
Also, you're not even giving the voice a way to defend himself here. You're just kind of throwing him under the bus.
He's not here.
I know. That's my
He's not
point.
Here. He can't defend himself.
That's my point.
Well, that's his own fault. I would say it's his own fault, but he's currently on opiates saying that trying to tell a bottle of wine that the Czech Republic is a great place to live. So there's that. Still funny.
That will never not be funny. It just won't.
Joining me is Max, the other current newscaster. And we were going to have the voice 106.7 here, but he is currently ill, so that's not happening. Yes, in his place, I think on the screen, you should just put something amusing. Put like, I don't know, a teddy bear or something.
I could put the mic just like without a head, though, like just the bottom half of him.
Yeah, the body without the mic.
Yeah.
That works. Yeah, we'll put that on there.
There you
okay,
go.
Beautiful.
But yeah, anyways, what we're going to be doing is talking about a few different news topics, just a lot more in depth than we normally do on the news, and, kind of having a discussion about it, which we don't get to do when it's just us.
Exactly, because, I have discussions with myself very frequently, but I don't want to be committed just yet.
Fair.
Quite happy not being in a mental home. So, there we go. Right. A brief outline of the news topics that we're going to cover today. We will have a little discussion about Netflix's Castlevania series, because that's game related. Oh, no, I didn't say it properly. No, it's Castlevania! You have to say it that way, otherwise I'll be shot by 6 snipers.
I'm not sure if I can commit to that. I'm going to be honest. I don't know if
snipers
I have
will
the
shoot
voice.
You then. If Max disappears halfway through the podcast, the Konami snipers have got it. Mind you, they're from Konami. They'd probably miss.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think I have too much to worry about regarding that company.
Yeah, they just end up hitting my lamp or something instead. Right, we will move on to our other pieces of news, which are BioWare and Mass Effect Andromeda, which is still relevant for reasons that we will tell you. The insane sales of Crash Bandicoot, the Insane Trilogy.
All right, I'm leaving.
Do you get... Don't leave! I don't want to be on my own!
So you're doing a news podcast by yourself.
That's alright. It's like no different than me talking to myself and ranting for an hour. We will also discuss summer games done quick, and a little thing about Paradox, the developers of Stellaris and Cities Skylines, which I'm doing a series about that you can watch on my channel. Hint, hint. The first item of news we're going to talk about today is the Netflix Castlevania series, which launched incredibly quietly this week and was a lot shorter than I was expecting. We'll get onto that in a second, but it's been renewed for an 8-episode second season. So we'll have opinions on that as well. And yes, it's no sort of release date announced yet.
It'll probably be a while. Because, let's be honest, that anime is gorgeous. It probably took them a while to put that together.
Oh, yeah, it is. And also, the creator is also working on an Assassin's Creed anime adaptation, which will tell, apparently, an original story within Ubisoft's historical universe.
Yeah, so did the movie. Look how that turned out.
Yeah, well, yeah. It'll tell an original story, but will it be sort of in the future? I don't want another future Desmond story.
Yeah, see, I'm wondering
That
about
does
that.
not appeal to me.
Like, even with Assassin's Creed Origins, I wonder if there's going to be a future side of things. I feel like they're done with Desmond, though. Completely.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, because Desmond's dead.
Shh, spoilers! I don't know, that series, they could...
died at the end of the Assassin's Creed 3
They
spin-off
could-
side games.
They could
That was years ago.
They could bring him back. I could see them doing something ridiculous like that. Don't you even question.
Oh, they could, but why the fuck would they bring back the world's blandest man?
I don't know. Why the fuck did they do half the shit they do with that series? Like, let's be honest.
Well, that's true. Assassin's Creed franchise. Let's see what we have. We have Assassin's Creed 3.
I'm pretty sure that's when he
Liberation.
dies. Is at the end of 3.
No, it's Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation, in which he dies. At the end of 3, he stabs up his girlfriend.
Wait, really? Wow, I am
would say
fucking off
spoiler.
on this.
Yeah, that was released in 2012, which was 5 years ago.
Jesus.
Oh, fuck. I feel old.
Yeah, we're old.
I feel so old.
All right, I didn't need to hear
Oh,
that before
jeez.
getting into this.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They're, as much as they said last year, Assassin's Creed is going to take a break for a year. It didn't, because they released 2 Assassin's Creed Chronicles games, which means that since 2007, there has been at least 1 Assassin's Creed-related release every single year.
Wow, that's awful.
And for those of you who might be wondering about 2008 and 2008, we have Assassin's Creed Altair's Chronicles for the Nintendo DS. Which
The
also
pinnacle
got a
of the
mobile
series.
release, apparently. Everyone remembers that game. That thing. It's a 3D puzzle platformer with third-person hack-and-slash combat. Good. Anyway, back on topic. So yes, let's discuss the first season of Netflix's Castlevania series.
There you go.
And then we'll have a little thing on the second. So, Max, do you have any opinions on the first season of Netflix's Castlevania?
I have lots of opinions on the name that I'm not going to say because I don't want to get shot. First things first.
You're no fun.
First things first. I thought the first episode establishing Dracula and everything was brilliant. You know, that was a great way to start the show off. It put us in a, what is the word I'm looking for? It put us in a position to feel for Dracula and not just hate him as a villain, which is what great stories do. And I like that they waited to introduce the Belmonts all the way towards the end, like literally the last second of the episode. And, you know, it also set the tone for the show that it's going to be much darker than I expected it to be, much more violent than I expected it to be, which is really, really cool. And it fits the series in the first place. But then I thought with episodes 2 and 3, while I still enjoyed them, I thought they definitely took a nosedive. They slowed down. And I really feel that these events and everything that happened in the show were happening more around Trevor than actually to Trevor. Like, Trevor was more a character to push the story along instead of, you know, actually being a part of the story. Like, everything was just happening around him. But I think they were important, and I think I wouldn't have as much of a problem with them if the first season was longer, because I actually didn't know that it was only 4 episodes. I went into it dark on purpose. I just kind of hit play and was like, all right, we're in for something great here, I'm sure. And then, you know, episode 4 happened, which kind of resolved some of the stories that we were being told, but it left us with a pretty big cliffhanger that I was not ready for. And I understand that this show, they probably wanted to do the first 4 episodes because they weren't sure how it would do, and because of budgeting reasons and all that sort of thing. So I can't be too mad at them, but it just seems to me like they couldn't really commit to anything, if that makes sense. Like, they were trying to do all these different things because they weren't sure how the show would do. So they figured, all right, we'll set up this storyline, this one. And if we get a second season, we'll maybe tie these up, or maybe we'll change it all up, but we'll see. But to me, I wish that they just kind of committed to like the Trevor Belmont story versus Dracula in the first season, and then went from there. And if the season 1 bombed, then it bombed, but it didn't, and now they have to do a whole bunch of wrapping up, and hopefully that doesn't screw with whatever they had planned in the first place.
Possibly. I mean, I get where you're coming from with the 4 episodes. I mean, I was expecting it to be longer as well. I was expecting more of a sort of 10 to 12, the standard sort of season, like anime season's worth of episodes. I mean, yeah, I sort of get what you mean as well with the second and the third episode. They were a bit slower, but at the same time, I didn't really mind it. I think the first episode to me was sort of a really great setup of the world and what's happening in it.
Definitely.
And the things, all of these setup things are sort of very big set piece showcase things. Whereas after that, you're sort of trying to. I like the sort of build towards something bigger. I'm a big fan of a slow build, which is why I like. I'm going to go off topic here. Doctor Who. I'm not going to give away any spoilers, obviously, but the last 2 episodes of the current season was a 2-parter, and the first part was a very sort of slow build episode, and it built towards establishing everything for the second episode, but it worked really well because of that. I do like a slow build in some cases if it's done right, and I think for the most part this was done quite well. But I do agree that it probably should have been longer, but at the same time, because of probably not knowing whether it would work or not, perhaps because of things like Little Witch Academia, which is on Netflix at the moment, and has had not the best sort of reception, I think. Oh no, this came out ages ago. I did not know that. I thought it only came out recently.
I couldn't say.
Well, fuck.
But
Fuck me for trying.
I do want to say I didn't necessarily mean I'm not a fan of slow builds. I'm definitely okay with that. I think my issue was more since this was the first season and it's only 4 episodes. They need to kind of hook people. Like people like me and you, we're going to be a bit more invested like early on than people who don't really play games or who like know nothing about Castlevania, if that makes sense. Like
you didn't say the name properly.
Castlevania. Was that better?
That's better, but holy shit, that peaked.
I know, I heard that in my fucking microphone, or in my headset.
I heard that. I was just like, oh dear, that's an edit.
But, you know what I mean, though? I think that's more my problem with it, was that the first season really needs to hook people, and I don't know if it did the best job doing that, aside from enthusiasts like us, if that makes sense. People who like... Because if this didn't have the Castlevania name on it, I probably wouldn't have watched it. I probably would have gotten bored. But because I know what's coming and I enjoy the series, I stuck through it. And to be honest, I enjoyed it. I still definitely enjoyed the series and plan on going back and rewatching it even. But I think in terms of setting up a show, I think they could have done a better job with that. Does that make more sense?
Yeah, that makes a bit more sense. I mean, I agree with you and disagree with you because like there's much better ones and there's much worse ones.
Yeah,
so
that's true. That's definitely
true. I don't sort of hate it, and at the same time I sort of I don't know. But yeah, I really enjoyed what was there. I just wanted there to be a little bit more.
Yeah,
just maybe sort of I don't know, either put more action in those 4 episodes, or make the whole thing a more consistent pace, maybe.
Yeah, that could have worked.
Because they could have had... I would have been more interested to see a bit more about Dracula's wife.
Yeah, that kind of just came and went, didn't it?
It was just like, oh, his wife's... It was like, oh, I want to learn about magic. Spoilers! This woman came into Dracula's castle wanting to learn about science, because it's science, it's not magic or whatever. And then it cuts to her getting burnt at the stake in a Christian town, and because she was practicing the evil satanics of science, and yeah, I fucking...
It's always about to get political.
Put it this way, I'm not religious, so we'll just leave it there. But yeah, and then there's that. But we're told that Dracula really loved his wife because he goes on a rampage and wants to kill everyone because of her, because of her
literally
death.
Everyone.
Yeah, because he's like, she was the only redeeming light in humanity for me, so I'm now going to kill everyone because she's dead. And they've sort of missed the idea within stories of show don't tell.
Yeah,
because we're told that she is the love of his life and that she's amazing and this wonderful person that made him feel great and made him want to travel as a man instead of this weird all-powerful vampire guy. but we're not shown that in any. I'd like to have seen, like, even if it was just an episode, and then at the end of the episode she gets arrested in this town.
Yeah.
That would have been a really good sort of ending, and that would have got people hooked as well, because this woman that we've had a whole episode to build on this relationship and show that he does love her, even though it's like a montage, but it sort of shows that their relationship's very deep, connected, and whatever. That would have been a really great cliffhanger for that, but they didn't do that.
I could see that I could see them doing that more in season 2, though, like having a lot of flashbacks as well. Because I agree, I would have liked to see more of that.
Possibly, yeah.
You what?
That would possibly work. Yeah, going back to explore it, because I know there's a lot of show, or a lot of films and shows, they'll ignore a lot of the main character's backstory in the first and then go into it in the second.
Yep. Yeah, because I feel like...
prime example of that is like the Iron Man films. I mean, it was done mostly in flashbacks and whatever during Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3, but those films explored more of his past than Iron Man 1 ever did. Iron Man 1 just sort of established him as a rich billionaire arsehole.
Mm.
And, I mean, that's still what he is, but whatever.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree.
Iron Man is very anomalous in that universe because he has no character arc yet. He's still exactly the same as he was.
He does what he serves to do.
He just has an Iron Man suit.
He's had an arc. He is definitely
hasn't.
He is not as full of himself. He is much more... Remember, because he feels really bad about all the people that die. I agree that it could be handled better, but I think that they attempted to give him an arc. I think they definitely attempted to.
I agree that they attempted, but they failed, and every time they tried to give him an arc, he just comes back as the exact same asshole.
He has, like, PTSD and shit.
Yeah, that's the thing. I enjoy seeing Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, but at the same time, I know full well that character is an asshole.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, there's that. Anyway, that's not Castlevania. So, yeah, that's tied in quite nicely. We sort of hopes and expectations for a second season that we know is going to be 8 episodes instead of 4.
Which is still too short for a season. Just saying.
I know. It's like combine the two. You got 12 episodes. That's a season to me.
There you go. But like, I'm definitely hyped for it. Like, without question, they definitely did that well, and I cannot wait. Like, I'm gonna be watching that day one.
Yes, but then doesn't that sort of... You made the argument that you don't know if it'll hook people, but it hooked you, even though you said the second and the third episode weren't great.
But again, I think it hooked me because I know Castlevania. Like, it'll hook gamers and everything. Like, you know, I guess that is its target audience per se. But and because like I know the story.
Castlevania, right?
I am gonna throw my mic across the room. Castlevania! I heard it peak again.
Yes, it did.
But
that's all right. You can edit that.
Exactly. But I don't know if it'll hook like normal people, because I feel like it needs more than just us to like it to keep it going. Does it not? I'm conflicted on that, because while I was frustrated, I feel like we liked it more because we just want Castlevania to do well, because it's Castlevania and it's a TV show. And yes, I'm saying the name like that time.
Tut. I tut at you.
Do it. I bite my thumb at you. If only we were on video. But
yeah, that's not happening.
But
nobody needs to see this face for more than 5 minutes at a time.
But the question is, are you hyped for season 2?
I think so. I think I'm probably not as ingratiated in the Castlevania lore as you are, but I heard about this show coming out, and I was like, while I don't know enough about Castlevania, I know full well that this is something I'd be interested in.
Mm.
So yeah, I watched it, and then I was like, okay, I want more, please.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Please, sir, I want some more. More? Oh dear. That is in the original black and white film of Oliver. That is how the lunch master in the orphan home says that. Like, he goes, more.
What?
Yeah, I know, it's really weird. I don't know why it's like that.
That's hilarious.
It is. Anyway, shall we move on to the next subject, or do you have anything else to say about Castlevania?
No, I think I have said what I want to say about the show.
Okie dokie. So that's Castlevania. It's pretty good, and the next season is something that we're both looking forward to.
Yes.
Let's move on. Topic number 2 for the news, and if you hear any clicking, incidentally, that is my fidget cube because I can't keep my hands still. So that's not topic 2. Topic 2 is not my I nearly said fidget spinner.
No.
And I think if I bought one of those, I'd want to kill myself.
There you go.
No, fidget cube. BioWare are still patching Mass Effect Andromeda after, what was it? It's been months now since it came out.
I think it was early March, right?
I think it might have been earlier than that, actually.
Really?
The second top search result on Google when you type in Mass Effect Andromeda is Mass Effect Andromeda transgender. So I'm not going to go into that space because I should imagine that that's full of toxic things.
Yep.
It came out 21st of March. You are correct. Oh, God. Wow. That's
insane.
Dropped in price. It is now available for $24.99 on eBay.
Jesus.
Oh, that's in pounds. So that's what, $30-odd?
Around there, yeah. Based on, literally, that knowledge is based on hearing you make conversions over the past few weeks.
$32.20. I was about right.
Yeah.
So, yes, Mass Effect Andromeda is still getting patches specifically for its facial animations, and it's been 4 months since it came out nearly.
They need to fix so much more than just those facial animations. To be honest with you,
yes,
they were bad, but they were not... That was not the biggest issue with this game. Like, I understand the meme content is the reason that blew up a lot, but yo, that game fucking sucks a lot of the time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I hated the story. Okay, I didn't hate the story. The story's okay, but sorry, but
I hated it, but I didn't really hate it.
I found a lot of the exploration very boring after a while. Did you play Dragon Age Inquisition? Because I know you haven't played Andromeda yet.
I have not played that game. Do I even have any of the Dragon Age games?
Oh, you got to play the first one.
No, I have. I typed DR into my Steam list, and it's drunken robot pornography. So yeah, I do.
Close.
That is a weird ass fucking game.
You don't say.
It's definitely not Dragon Age.
I don't know. It just felt to me like they took the Dragon Age Inquisition formula, which was good. It worked fine. It kind of felt like a single player MMO. And then they threw it into Mass Effect, but took out a lot of... Okay, maybe not to Snowy, but to normal people, that sounds okay. But...
Wow, thanks.
Hey, that's a compliment at the same time. You're an individual.
Sort of. Well, yeah. But we are playing a multiplayer game on Friday together, remember?
Fair. But, it seems to me they took out a lot of the fun in terms of that. Like, for example, running the actual Inquisition or actually exploring interesting worlds. They kind of ruined the worlds, in my opinion. And I just feel like this wasn't what we want out of Mass Effect, just at all. Like, for Mass Effect, we want deep stories, personal stories, and they didn't even do that well. Like, a lot of the loyalty missions are pretty standard fare. They do have this cool feature where you go around and you find little pellets, I guess I'll call them. But they're important to the game. They look good, they glow, and they float and shit.
Sure, they're pellets and they're not pills. It's all a hallucination.
But
you find them all. You just wake up in like the hospital somewhere, and the orderly's like, "He's awake." Just give you another pill and put you back to sleep again.
It might as well.
That'd be a fucking plot twist. Imagine that. The whole of the Mass Effect universe was one guy's delusion.
But
that'd be amazing.
That would be amazing. Yeah, maybe if they ever make another Mass Effect game. But anyways, they're your father's memories, and you take them back to the ship, and you can see sort of what drove your dad to do a lot of the things he does, because he was the head of the Pathfinder Initiative, which are the people who went out to find a new universe for humanity to live in. So that's pretty cool. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed that, but just a lot of their actual gameplay choices just was not a fan of. And to be fair, this was sort of the B team. I know the A team was working on Anthem, so that explains some of it as well.
No, they're working on saving the world underground, obviously.
Definitely.
But Mass Effect is shit.
It used to not be, but now it is, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Ugh. Just not a fan. And back to the point, facial animations.
Feel the salt.
The facial animations are not
yes,
the things that needs to be fixed.
Animations, that's what I was about to say. The facial animations are still not entirely... they're not happy with them yet.
Yeah.
And so apparently the worst animation bugs were fixed quickly, which may mean that characters no longer walk out of little conversation cutscene things, because that happened. I think there was a Jimquisition episode that involved Mass Effect.
Oh Lord!
And he did a clip of like a montage of awful animation related things, and one of them he was talking to a character, and the character just fucked off the screen and went somewhere else. In the middle of the dialogue tree. And
of course.
Like, what?
I can't even imagine what Jim had to say about that.
I don't think it was glowing with praise.
But yeah, if that says anything about the way they developed the game, like if that's an issue, you can't even imagine what other issues they have going on.
Well, yes. Apparently the worst animation things were fixed quickly. Examples given on the Eurogame article I'm looking at being that gun being the wrong way round, along with Foster Addison looking like a shop window dummy. Wow. Hot damn. Oh, yes. I actually understand. I've just looked. That's the face on... Yeah, she really does. Oh, dear.
Oh, dear me.
We should put that on the screen, just in the edit, just to give context to that.
Definitely.
That's fucking appalling.
Peek the screen, folks.
So they are still patching things. The latest update 1.09 apparently adjusts camera angles, lighting, and mouth animation in a few scenes. So obviously, they're now just getting down to the tiny bits that just need a little bit of improvement, as opposed to the overall, this looks like a pile of dog shit, let's fix that. It still surprises me, though, because the team that developed it have... been downsized and the series is put on ice.
Yep.
So you wonder how many people are actually working on it and how much they can actually achieve.
Well, yeah, because now I'm sure they all went over to Anthem now, and now that's just BioWare's big baby because EA and everyone else wants service games. It's a shame
that they did such an awful gameplay trailer at E3 for it.
It looks gorgeous though.
Like if that had been no voices, silent, just showing off the game, might have been alright. I'd have like, oh, that looks quite interesting in its own way.
Dude,
but
they
the
were so
scripted
distracting.
voiceover chat killed it.
Yeah.
Fucking ruined it, the whole thing for me. I was just like, okay, I don't care.
There's this really funny video on YouTube. It's like how Anthem would have sounded or something like that. And it's just... oh, wait.
They've taken out
there it is. It actually just got recommended in that video. That's on the Eurogamer article. But yeah, it's basically just throws in like how chat really would be with like 4 guys just playing it together, and it's fucking hilarious.
Oh. I happened to watch Jim Sterling's roundup of E3 again because it came up.
Oh, did
apparently Forbes think he's one of 5 gaming YouTubers to watch.
Forbes.
Which is quite interesting. Yeah, Forbes, the magazine, think that he's worth a watch, apparently, in an article.
I mean, I think
that was the video they recommended.
Forbes?
I do as well. I know, it's really weird. I was just like, what the fuck? And that was the video they recommended. So I was like, oh, I'll watch that again. And he talked about that section, and then he just cut away to, I think, probably a bit he'd done last year when they did, because they did the same thing with The Division, that was it.
Yes. Okay.
They had the same thing there with the voice chat, and he just dubbed it over with really sort of awful, like what it would be like. It's just like, oh, my mum sucks. She got me a PS4 and a new iPhone.
Exactly.
And then there's just some guy playing random bits of music from his phone and whatever it is. They were just like, shut up, turn the music off. And that kind of stuff. And I was just like, yes, that is what voice chat fucking sounds like. Yep. I've been in Grand Theft Auto Online and left the voice chat open, and it is fucking appalling. I hate voice chat with a passion.
I don't blame you.
Ugh. I don't feel it's necessary in any way.
It can be, but it entirely depends on which game you're playing. Like try playing that what's that bomb game? Defuse the bomb.
Keep talking, nobody explodes.
Yeah,
I played that with Orange Lightning yesterday.
There you go. Try playing that without voice chat. That would be amazing. Actually, let's do that.
How would that even work? Like, do it over text or something?
Yeah, there you go. See, voice chat is important.
That would be... If
no,
you,
not
if
even
you
over
watched
text.
any of
Just,
that
like,
live
do
stream,
it.
you will see how awfully we did it. Even with voices, we were so bad at it. So that's probably not going to work. Oh dear. That will be up on my channel by the time this goes out, I think. Oh no, that's going up on Orange's channel. I'm getting Duck Game.
Why don't you keep plugging yourself?
Why do I keep plugging myself? I don't know. It's almost as if I want people to watch my content that I put effort into. Please.
No, I'd be doing the same if I had made content in the past 3 weeks on my own channel.
Well, anyway, Mass Effect. Yes, I have very little interaction with the series as a whole. I played a bit of the first one, a bit of the second one, none of the third one, and none of Andromeda. Andromeda did look interesting to me. The way they sort of set it up and what they said they were going to do with it sounded really good.
Yeah, don't get me wrong,
Yeah, from what I've heard, it's just not been executed very well.
Exactly.
Maybe is it worth buying if it's on sale? And if so, what price would you pay for it?
I would say, okay, since you're not as invested in the series, you may not be as pissed off at how different it is. So it's worth $30, I guess, at the end of the day. There are still some cool aspects to it, and I do plan on going back and finishing it at some point just to say that I have, and because I have a video series that I said I would finish, because I was going to do my first impressions, my midway impressions, and my final impressions. So, I do want to get towards the end, but it was just, there's something about it, just the repetitiveness and just the massive amount of side content you're given that is just such filler that really...
Don't you mean the mass effectiveness amount?
Yeah, exactly. Another fucking pun, I swear to God. But exactly though, like that, if you can get past that and like focus on the main story, you may enjoy it a lot more. Just know that there's a bunch of filler shit, and it is kind of like a single player MMO, just not a good one.
Is there a good single player MMO?
I'm pretty sure that's an oxymoron.
Probably.
But yeah.
Okay, right. That's Mass Effect. I'm probably not going to buy it, and it's still getting patches on facial animations because it is. Because they fucked it up so bad that it's still not fixed. Well done, BioWare.
Right.
Crash Bandicoot, the n.sane why is it called the n.sane trilogy? That really annoys me. Has been released about 2 weeks ago now on the PS4, and if people had watched my news videos on my own channel that I've stopped now before now, then they would know that there is a possible PC release coming up, but that's no sort of confirmation on that yet at all. But it was released 2 weeks ago, and it, in the UK at least, is still #1 in the chart. So that's 2 weeks running.
Which is absolutely crazy. Especially because I don't want to say it's like a niche title, because it's not. But it's a game that's from the PlayStation 1 era. You know, like, yeah, the Crash made it into the PS2, but I don't think those games were ever as good as the first three. And the fact that a remaster is topping like even GTA and Overwatch, which are, you know, always at the top every single month. That's absolutely insane. Like, I've heard people who don't even play games like talking about this sort of stuff, like talking about Crash and being "Oh yeah, I love that game." Everything.
Yeah, because Crash Bandicoot, even if you're not a gamer, you've probably heard of Crash Bandicoot. It is one of the seminal games, regardless of whether you've played it or not. You've probably at least heard of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, in its first week, it topped the charts in the UK. Going from 10 to 1, we have Rocket League, which is still selling massive amounts of copies, which I approve of because Rocket League is amazing.
Yes, it is.
Dirt 4, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Elite Dangerous, surprisingly. Overwatch, FIFA 17, Kill Me Now, Forza Horizon 3, GTA 5, which is still there despite all the modding controversy, and the new Micro Machines game, which is apparently not as good as Toy Box Turbos. So I will probably not be getting it. And yeah, Crash is #1. No specific countdown for the second week. Oh, no, I've just noticed there is. Rocket League, Horizon Zero Dawn, Rocket League, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare?
Yep.
Really?
I don't know, man. They probably did some deal or something.
Huh. Maybe. Mario Kart 8, Battlefield 1, Micro Machines again, FIFA 17, Kill Me, Overwatch, GTA 5, and Crash Bandicoot. I don't know if I'm surprised about this or not, actually, thinking about it.
I mean, yeah, to be fair, we are in sort of a dry spell. July,
well, yeah,
summer is known as...
Yeah, it's the summer games drought,
yeah.
Exactly.
And it is, I think it's $40, or maybe it's $30, so it is a bit cheaper than a full-fledged game as well. Which probably contributed to that a little bit. But I think it's also just because these were such good games back then. They're still such good games right now. And they put a lot of effort into this type of remaster. This isn't your generic remaster. And it's also a remaster that's actually necessary since it's from PS1 and not from the Xbox 360, which for some reason gets remasters all the time. Why aren't they remastering things like this more often? Like, I know there's rumors of Spyro the Dragon getting a remaster now, which would be amazing. Yeah, right?
Yes.
See, that's the type of stuff we need remastered, especially with this level of detail.
Yes, it is. But this raises the question for me, do you prefer a remastering, like the Crash n.sane trilogy, or do you prefer a reboot like the Ratchet and Clank game that came out last year or the year before?
See, that's tough because with Ratchet and Clank, the thing with Ratchet and Clank is it never stopped coming. Like, we had some on every single console. Like, they always kept coming. So it does take the place of a reboot or of a remaster, assuming that they don't change everything up, which does happen sometimes. I think what I like most, but which isn't always viable, is what I think they're going to be doing with Crash. Since this n.sane trilogy did so well, they're probably going to make a new one now, if that makes sense. Especially,
probably, yeah, that's probably capitalize on the success.
Yeah, and I think they wanted to test it too. Like, it makes a whole bunch of sense that they weren't sure if this game would do that well or not. So, if I had to pick one, I'd say probably a remaster rather than a reboot, just because that's the game I want. So I am getting it. It just looking better and running on my newest system and all that shit. But ideally, I'd like to have both. Have my cake and eat it.
It's like the British government with Brexit. Oh, fucking hell, why did I say that? God damn it. I'm not even joking. They used that fucking phrase and I hate them for it.
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous.
Moving on.
I say that because it is viable as well. That's not just like a pipe dream for me to say that.
Yeah, exactly. I think from what I've heard, because I don't own a piss poor, the Ratchet and Clank reboot is basically the original Ratchet and Clank games, but shiny and lovely.
Oh,
like
those. I thought you were talking about just the new games they've made. I forgot they did that. Yes, okay. That works too. Shut up. Because they make so many Ratchet and Clank games, okay?
They've not made one in like 4 years or something, have they?
No, they had the PS3 series, and then
didn't the PS3 game.
Didn't they continue it? I don't know. I haven't had a PlayStation since PS2, even though I love
the
Ratchet.
The last one before Ratchet and Clank 2016 was 2013's Ratchet and Clank Into the Nexus.
It was that long, dude. We're so old.
It feels like it. To be honest, it feels like it was longer than that.
Really? It does not feel that way to me.
I do, however, have the first 3 Ratchet and Clank games on the PS Vita, which you can buy.
There you go.
So that's a thing. Yeah. The poor Vita. I feel so sorry for that console. Oh, that thing got screwed for no reason. That was a good thing, but
yeah, people love it.
Aww. I am semi-surprised that the Crash Bandicoot thing got this many sales, but I was expecting it to sell well at the same time.
Yeah, I'm with that
too. 2 weeks in a row at the top in the UK is surprising to me.
Yeah,
because that is quite impressive. But then at the same time, this is one of those things. It's what the games industry does. will say that something is not going to sell, so therefore they won't. They do it deliberately. The games industry does this thing where they will say that a particular genre or a particular type of game isn't popular anymore. It's always a very baseless accusation. And then for a few years, the games industry will just follow one particular trend. For instance, between sort of 2008 and 2014, that's rough years, obviously not exact, they were all following Call of Duty.
Okay.
Pretty much every game publisher was making first-person shooters because they wanted to be like Call of Duty. They wanted to be the next Call of Duty, even though they're trying to sell games to a market that is already being catered for by Call of Duty. During that time, the big games industry was saying, oh, survival horror, nobody likes survival horror, so there were no big survival horror games outside of things like Dead Space, and then they turned Dead Space into an action co-op shooter because of course they did.
Yeah.
And then you see things like they released Amnesia: The Dark Descent and things like Slender, and then the games industry finally went, yeah, that thing as well. And they would just then the games industry went, oh, I guess horror is popular then. And you're just like, what did you base your original accusation on? Or did you just say it because Call of Duty sold well?
Dude, like, indie games have been pushing that a lot as well. Like, it seems to be like, even with Minecraft, like, dude, Fallout 4 put in that sort of house building thing they had because of Minecraft's success.
I enjoy the house building thing, but I don't think it's very Fallout.
Yeah, right? That's the thing.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. But yeah, there's sort of the common trait now in games that's gone away from first-person shooters. It's gone to open-world games.
Yes, which is starting to fade off now. I think.
I hope so, because I'm incredibly bored of open-world games at the moment.
Yeah, me too.
I like a good open-world game, but there's not many good ones.
Burnout. Getting burnout.
At the moment.
I'm the exact same way.
Yeah.
And then
that makes me think of Burnout Paradise, and that's a really good open-world game.
Yes, it is. Now I could be stretching it a little, but it seems to me that the sort of Dark Souls style game is starting to be the next trend.
The sort of obsessive hard difficulty.
Yeah, and everyone comparing it to that.
A lot. Yeah, this is like Dark Souls, but X. And it's like, oh, come on. It's like, what was it? Lords of the Fallen, which is just basically...
Well, to be fair, that was...
slightly different paint color.
Yeah. And then The Surge, which is actually the same developer of that game. But The Surge...
Yes, that is the same thing, isn't it? Yeah, The Surge is supposed to be quite good, though.
Yeah, I love The Surge.
Because it's Dark Souls in a really sort of interesting, different setting.
Yep, it's very atmospheric.
Was basically the same setting.
Yeah. And The Surge actually does some interesting stuff as well. It actually changes up the formula a lot. Like, it does not feel the same. It's much harder. Like, way harder. And one of my favorite things it does is when you want an armor piece, or you want to upgrade any of your current armor pieces, which you need to do, you can't just attack enemies and grind for them. You have to actually target the specific body part you want. So if you want that new helmet, you have to attack their head, which means you're going to be foregoing different attacks, putting yourself into danger, because the blocking in that game sucks, by the way. So you're going to need to be dodging other attacks and making sure all of your hits land on his head, and then you have to charge up a certain bar and make sure that you use a finishing move to get that headpiece. Like, it makes you like grind in a certain way. It makes you actually put skill into grinding, and each encounter is that much more important in order to get these different parts and allow yourself to get through the game. And see, that sort of stuff I really, really like an actual change on the formula and innovation on the formula.
Yeah, I like it when they change things up, but a lot of the time people don't.
Exactly.
And it's like, Mad Max to me is the sort of the pinnacle of the really bland open world game, because while it had its points, its good points, the car combat particularly, it just sort of combined most of the really dull elements of open world games. Like, it even had towers. Like, it had the Ubisoft towers. Just, they were hot air balloons instead. I wasn't thrilled about that. I was very disappointed with Mad Max. A lot of people liked it, and I thought the car combat was very good, but I thought the rest of it was a bit sort of crap. So, yeah, Crash Bandicoot is selling really well. I do understand why, but I didn't expect it to sell that well. So I'm pleased with that thing. Hooray. Summer Games Done Quick has, I think, ended now. I think it's ended. It should have done.
Yes, it's over.
Yes, it has. It ended on I think it ended yesterday.
Yeah. No, today.
As we're recording, anyway. Oh, yeah, okay. Ended today as we're recording. And it has done a very fucking good job. It's a charity event, for those of you who don't know, and it's just people sort of speedrunning games, doing games very quickly over a series of 30 days. It's all live streamed, or there's an event you can actually go to. So there's obviously a changeover of people doing different games. And this year, the money they were raising, the money they were raising charity for. Yes, that's what I was about to say. The charity they're raising money for was Doctors Without Borders, which I think is to do with doctors that go over and help people in third world countries, if I remember correctly. And they have raised, wait for it, $1.7 million.
Wow.
That is amazing.
People say gamers aren't good for anything.
Astonishing. Yes. And that breaks the previous record of Summer Games Done Quick, because it's a biannual thing. And that previous record set last year was 1.3 million. It doesn't, however, break the overall Games Done Quick record, which was set in January. I think it's just called Winter. Is it either Winter Games Done Quick or just Games Done Quick? And that one, which raised over $2 million.
Wow.
I know. Isn't that amazing?
That's ridiculous. And it's cool because it's also, like, it's not just people playing games. It's, like, kind of skill-based. Like, I know I can't sit and do a speedrun like that. Like, it's these people who dedicate hundreds and hundreds of hours to a specific game just to shave seconds off their time, you know? Finishing the entire thing.
You see the people that do Mario in, like, 4 minutes
exactly.
or whatever.
Like, it's actually interesting to watch. You're not just watching, like, a normal Let's Play, per se. You're watching, like, a very specialized one, which is very, very cool.
Yeah. So, in Summer Games Done Quick, it was 130 games that were played over a multitude of platforms. And according to Eurogamer, at least, highlights such as somebody completing Portal 2's co-op mode solo in 45 minutes using 2 mice and 2 monitors.
Wow. All right.
Yeah. And also a guy speed ran Nier Automata one-handed in 2 hours.
Snowy were inadequate.
What? Yeah, I know. It's one way to make you feel really shit at games, and that's what it is. Oh,
that's awesome.
God.
That's very, very awesome to hear and see, though, that something like that can make so much money.
Dark Souls in 29 minutes.
Okay.
Super Hot in 20 minutes. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild in 45 minutes. Although somebody managed to do that in, like, a really stupidly small amount of time, because they did. There's also, I found out this week, a glitch in Pokemon Yellow specifically. You can exploit a specific glitch, and you have to fill a lot of criteria. So this can only have been discovered by accident, but you can fill a criteria, which means you can technically complete the game in 0 minutes.
What?
Because it will count you as having beaten the Elite Four. Like, something will go wrong in the game's code, and it will count you as having beaten the Elite Four by that time.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, if you do a very specific set of requirements. Dark Souls 3 in 1 hour 27 is not bad. Good lord. Final Fantasy 7, 7 hours 48 minutes. Is that good? That seems like a long time.
I have no clue.
But at the same time, it also doesn't. I don't know how long that game takes to complete.
I mean, I know it's a very, very long game. Like, I think like 60, 70 hours.
Oh, God.
But it's a turn-based JRPG. So I guess, that is pretty good.
That as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's only so much you can speed up when it comes to turn-based battles, I suppose.
Yep.
Tetris Grandmaster Mode, apparently. That does not sound fun. Shadow of the Colossus in 46 minutes. That's very good. Because that's a very big world in Shadow of the Colossus. It's very empty, but it's very big. So that's impressive. What else do we have? Hollow Knight in 53 minutes. Hollow Knight's a very good game that I recommend people buy. I Am Bread in 37 minutes. Oh,
also
God.
a good game.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 in 16 minutes.
Cool.
Pro Skater 4 in 37 minutes. I fucking love... Pro Skater 4 was my first skating game, and I fucking love that game.
I do like
so
those
good.
games.
Yeah, it's a shame that Pro Skater 5 came out last year and killed the
Shit.
franchise.
Yeah.
Oh, Castlevania! Symphony of the Night in 32 minutes. To be fair, you can do it where you technically complete the game, even though you've only played half the game.
Okay.
In that particular one. So, well, I don't know. I don't know if they did all of it or they just did the half of it that you need to do. Yeah, Pokemon Heart Gold, Soul Silver. I'm surprised they didn't get Nintendo copyright claim by that. In 3 minutes 36. 3 minutes? 2 hours 36 minutes. Yeah, 3 minutes. Imagine that. That would be a...
That'd be a record.
Cheap, well, yeah, that's definitely true. Yeah, loads and loads and loads of good games that have been done very quickly. As you kind of hope, really, considering it's called Games Done Quick. But yeah, this kind of thing just... It's one of those things that it puts a lot of faith in people, and very specifically the gaming community, because that's something that the gaming community has done. They've raised $1.7 million for a charity. That's astounding. In fact, the specific figure is $1,760,400.
Wow. Nope, that's I don't want to say it's unheard of, but it's just something that, I mean, again, we're sitting playing video games, and it shows how great the gaming community can actually be, because I know it gets a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And the fact that if we just kind of stop giving each other shit and actually concert all of our efforts into one thing, we can do something great like that. It's very, very cool.
Paradox Interactive, the developers of Cities Skylines, got in the news a few weeks ago now because it was it's discovered that a lot of their games in non-US regions have had price hikes. Now, there's a couple of statements about this, and the main sort of gist of it was that currency issues, like the exchange rates, were the reason behind this. So I'm not going to blame anything in particular at all. No particular reason for me to blame anything as someone in the UK at all.
And it's nice that they're offering free games in like lieu of this, because that is an issue that I don't think this is intentional at all. I agree with that. I think it was entirely accidental, and they didn't really have to do anything. They could have just offered refunds, but they're also offering free games to those types of people, which is just really, really cool.
I disagree. I don't think it was accidental, and when I said I don't think there's anything to blame, I do blame something. It's Brexit in the UK. Because that's put the pound down the fucking toilet, whatever you say. And I do think they did it deliberately. I think that I find it very difficult to believe that they put the prices up accidentally.
You think so?
I find that very, very difficult to believe. That seems like a thing, even if it's on Steam, that seems like a thing that you have to do very deliberately. It's not just something that you can just accidentally press a button and all your games go up by a couple of pounds.
Do you think that maybe this was one person inside that did it, whereas the company as a whole did not approve of this?
Got an inside man.
Yeah.
I'm going to ruin this company. Put up the prices and no one will buy their games.
I don't know, man. I don't know. That seems too...
I would, if they said that, I would be just completely fine. I would just like, fine, great, well done. Well done you for saying that.
I just feel like they wouldn't be putting in the effort to do like free games and stuff, even though I guess that doesn't really cost them anything.
Well, I think they're doing it because of the outcry,
eye.
and because they've seen things that like what happened to Grand Theft Auto 5's review scores, the massive review bombs on PC, which was just funny. I found that hilarious. The sort of things like that. I think they wanted to avoid that. So this seems to me like damage control.
Okay, I can definitely see that.
Yeah. To go into specifics, though, if you bought a Paradox game between the 17th of May and the 6th of July in any currency other than US dollars, you can get either a free game from a list of games or 2 DLCs from a list of DLCs. And to do that, you just fill out a form on their website. I have done so because I bought 2 Cities Skylines DLCs. And I have applied to get... What did I apply for? Where is it? Base game. I applied for Stellaris on PC via a Steam key. So also, if based on what you purchased your thing through, so there's 3 platforms. There's Steam, Good Old Games, so it'll be GOG Galaxy or through GOG website, and the Apple Store, which is apparently selling their games.
Yep, they sell games.
I did not. Do they? Okay. Games on Apple. What a novelty. So based on whatever platform you bought the thing on is the platform that you can get your free thing on. So I could only get a thing through Steam because that's where I bought the thing from. So I picked Stellaris. The other choices include Tyranny, Magicka 2, Hearts of Iron 4, Europa Universalis 4, and Crusader Kings 2, which is fine. I mean, there's only 2 of those that I'd want to play, and one of them I've applied for. So, I mean, I'm only interested in Stellaris and Magicka 2, but I want Stellaris more than Magicka 2, so that's the one I've applied for.
Yeah, from what I can tell, a lot of these are strategy games, correct? Like 4X
Pretty
strategy.
much, that's a lot of what they do. Oh, there's more on GOG, actually, looking at it. Those are just the Steam ones. On GOG, you can instead get Victoria Complete, whatever that is. Tyranny, again, Sword of the Stars Complete Collection, Sengoku, Majesty Gold, Majesty 2, Knights of Pen and Paper, King Arthur Collection, Hearts of Iron 2 or 3 or number 1, For the Glory, a Europa Universalis game, Europa Universalis, an expansion type thing to that, or a standalone, Europa Universalis 2 or 3, Darkest Hour, Crusader Kings, Cities in Motion, which is like Cities Skylines but less good. And then on Apple, it's either Ancient Space, I have no idea what that is, Cities in Motion, which you've already told you about, or Tyranny. So, not a lot of choice on Apple. There's a lot of choice on GOG, but most of it's stuff that I don't personally want. And the choice on Steam is 2, and I've picked one of those. The DLCs, let's get specific now. You can't get any DLCs if you are an Apple customer. Don't know why. GOG's ones are Hearts of Iron 3 DLC collection or the Tyranny DLC. And on Steam, Crusader Kings 2, Europa Universalis 4, Hearts of Iron 4, Stellaris, and Tyranny, all the DLCs from those games. And you can pick 2 of those if you don't pick a base game.
Okay.
So there we go. Those are the specifics.
From what I know, Tyranny is really, really good. It's a throwback to the Baldur's Gate era of games. And I know that people really, like one of my coworkers who loves that series, he loves Tyranny. He thinks Tyranny is one of the best games to come out. I think it came out last year. Or maybe it was this year, but I just know he thinks it was one of his personal game of the years as of whichever year it came out. So that's really cool. And I heard the DLC is really good. Well, if it has DLC, it probably came out last year.
Well, yeah.
I think that type of game takes a while to get DLC, I feel like. But anyways.
Well, yeah, I mean, Cities Skylines DLC was... The first Cities Skylines DLC came out about 6 months after the first one, and then they sort of got a bit quicker at doing that.
And how many months are we into this year?
That now. 7.
Fuck
7
you.
months.
Fuck off.
I know. But yeah, I still don't think that Paradox raised their prices by accident. I definitely think they did it on purpose. But at the same time, the way they're making up for it, of course, it doesn't make up for the fact that they tried to do it in the first place, and they have since reloaded the prices, I will add. But it goes a long way towards that. It certainly does a bit better than some games. Batman Arkham Origins, specifically, I'm thinking of, because they did fuck all. They just released a broken game on PC and then didn't bother fixing it.
Same with Arkham Knight. I'm not mistaken.
Well, yeah, but if Arkham Knight, they offered everyone refunds.
Oh, they did? Okay.
Like, even if they played over 2 hours and whatever, then they still offered you a refund.
But it also...
keep the game as well if you wanted to. I couldn't, because I didn't know that G2A was really shitty at the time, so I bought the game through there. And yeah, I couldn't get a refund, so fine. I apparently, though, had one of the better experiences of Arkham Knight performance-wise.
That's good. I enjoyed the game.
Yeah.
I played it on console, but I enjoyed it.
I thought it was a bit too Batmobile heavy.
It was. It definitely was, especially all the bot different missions and stuff, which got kind of annoying.
Oh, yeah, it's just, great. Blow up more robots. Fabulous. Yeah. That's really sort of fun.
But yeah, I think overall that was a fun game. But
yeah.
This also, them doing this does put them into the public eye a lot, which I think they benefit more from anyways. Because,
because they've been shown to do a good thing.
Yeah. And like everyone wrote about it, This was all over. There's free publicity. So
yeah.
Which does contribute to your theory as well.
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah, it's all a bit sort of meh. It's a very sticky situation, but they've sort of got out of it in the correct fashion, which is good. Because I wouldn't want to think less of them, because I like Paradox as a developer, because they develop City Skylines, which is one of my favourite games. So yeah, I'd be a bit sad if they didn't improve. So that was the news podcast for this week, and that went on. That didn't go too bad, did it?
No,
it went
not
all
at
right.
all. Normally we'll have Vox the Voice on with us as well.
Yes, the Voice 106.7.
If we're even,
voice.
No one can except for him.
No.
Are we doing a weekly? Are we gonna make this a weekly thing? I'd be okay with that.
We should do. I think that should be all right.
Yeah, we'll have to see, of course, but it was either
we'll
way.
See how our schedules work. But if you enjoyed this particular podcast and want to hear more, please do smash that like button and give us a subscribe.
Well, now we're getting zero interaction on this video.
Yeah. Send us a comment. I know you want to. Yeah. Engage us on our social media.
I hate everything. I don't want to be a part of this anymore. I'm just gonna shuffle.
No, you are stuck here.
Shuffling. I hope that you can hear the.
You are stuck here for life. You will not escape. Nope, not happening.
But yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely do leave us some comments. We love discussing all this sort of stuff with you guys. Let us hear your thoughts on our opinions, even though you probably hated a lot of them, as the internet seems to do nowadays. But let us know.
You're not allowed an opinion that's not mine.
But yeah, let us know. And hopefully we can do more of these, because this was fun.
Yeah, it was good. And hopefully next time Fox will not have any technical issues and will not be ill.
That poor dude, man.
Join us. Oh,
he's been having a hell of a week, and it's only Monday.
He has. If he's listening to this, big love to you, Fox.
Yes, all the love.
And I hope that bottle of wine moves to the Czech Republic. I had to bring it up again. I had to. Okay, so yes, this was the GameCast newscast, and I have been your semi-host, Snowy Count Fracula, and my social link will be sort of in the description. My channel will be on an end card, and my co-host Max will have the same.
Yep.
So yes, that's it for the show today, and we'll hopefully see you for another one next time.
And don't forget to be checking out the other GameCast content as well. We do a whole bunch of stuff on here. We do Let's Plays, opinion pieces, reviews, podcasts, news, so on and so forth. Whatever we feel like doing, honestly. Like this, for example.
That's just this random fucking shambles of a podcast. All right, let's wrap up and say goodbye. Goodbye, everybody.
See ya, everyone. Castlevania.
Yes. I will ring you back later. Love you. Oh, well, that's me. Okay. Love you. Bye.